get into it. Okay. So if you remember where we stopped, we actually talked about images and assets and images. That video is yeah, I recorded it, but I've not uploaded it. So I'm going to actually upload it with this set of videos. And yeah. So if you remember, we stopped at containers, and I expect that if you have gotten to this part, if you have gotten through this week, you should maybe you probably already know about containers because you have used it for your tasks this month, this week. So yeah, so you probably already know about them, and you probably even already know about columns, but we're still going to talk about them quickly. Those aren't really the more important stuff that I want us to go over, because those things are things that you can easily watch one or two videos, or and you probably be able to get a good hold of them. But there are some other deeper, more subtle things that maybe you won't notice on your own. So because we're meant to be getting ready for at least getting good enough to do some small projects and stuff. So okay, let's start with I guess we should just go back to containers. So yeah, already you know what a container is, and you have probably used it, as I said, but there are some stuff that there's some properties that container has that is really useful. Like you might get to use them a lot when you're working with containers. So, and those are padding and margin. And if you are from the web development world, you probably already have an idea what these two things are, padding and margin. So, but if you've not, padding is basically like space inside a widget, and margin is like space around a widget. So if you put a padding inside a container, you're kind of like giving it spaces inside, and then if you put it outside, if you put a margin, I mean, you are giving it spacing from outside. So let me quickly just demonstrate those. So the property, as you probably guessed, is padding. And this padding takes, if you hover over it, you can see it says edge inserts geometry. And edge inserts geometry is usually used for types of properties like padding and margin, for kind of like specifying the geometry of edges and spaces, that kind of thing. So I say edge inserts geometry, though you can now see the properties. Hold on, this is so if I say edge inserts, you see the properties. You can see all from LTRB, for window padding, LERP, only, symmetric. So all is kind of saying padding. It's kind of saying padding in all sides. That's both the top, the bottom, the left, and the right. So hold on. For you to see this, I'm probably going to have to give this some sort of child. So I'm going to give this a child of like another container, so you can see some visual. You can have some visual representation. Color. Make that red. Going to make the height and the width the same. Actually, should reduce this width to 5. Okay. Reduce this height to maybe. Okay. So yeah, so right now you see that because the width and the height of the second container is the same with the one that wraps it. It covers the whole container as expected. But when you go ahead and add your padding, which is padding of aging set or 9.0, and bear in mind this the methods for edging sets usually take double, though you can pass in an int also. It's going to work like it is. So that has a way of changing your integers to doubles, where you kind of like, in case you interchange, if in case you put an int where you're meant to put a double, most functions kind of handle that. But it's best for it's usually best for you to use a double directly, because you might not notice it right now, but when you start building like really large apps, you don't want your app to be like inferring types by itself, or doing those kind of conversions. You want to just give it what it needs, so there is no like latency sort of. So sorry. So now you can see if I save this, you see that the blue side is starting to show a bit more, because I've given it like spacing around. I've given it spacing inside it. In this blue container, I've put some spacing inside. And remember I said this .all is like for all sides. So if I increase the padding a bit more to say 16, you can see it shrinks down. It shrinks more, because yeah, the padding is still at work. But yeah, then let's see the other methods that this gives us. You can see from LTRB, this one is usually also used a lot. It basically means LTRB means left, top, right, bottom. So it takes in 4 values: your left, top, right, and bottom double. So if I give the left, okay, I'm just going to give all of them the same value to start out. Yeah, so say I change the one on the left to 20. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that, but the side of the left like moved a bit more. Side on the left moved a bit more. If I increase that, so it is more visible, to say 60. Yeah, you can see that the side on the left has moved more inwards, and it's basically the same thing for all other sides. So this is the top. Then remember, the first one is left, second one is the top. the next one is the right, and then this last one is the bottom. So if I change the one for top and bottom to be 60, you can see how that changes. So yeah, that's another one you can use. Then another one that you see often is only. So with only, you are not forced to put in values for any sides. You're not forced to put in values for any sides. You basically just have to specify what side you want to give a value. So you can give a left, say we give a left of 9. Let's keep going with our 9, and we give right to be 9 also, and top and bottom. Yeah, so okay, so yeah, then you can see that you've got we've reverted back to the reverted back to the 9 pixels padding that we used. And just as we did before, if I increase this, you can see that it changes. Just that the usefulness of only is that you don't have to specify other sides when you don't need them. Yeah, so you see, because I only need to increase the side of the left, I just give only left a value, and it uses that. And if I want to do right, top, bottom, or any other side, I'm just going to do the same thing, and it is going to change that side accordingly. So yeah. Another one is symmetric. So symmetric takes in horizontal and vertical side. Going to be with our 9. So you can see the. Oh, okay, wait, you have not saved. Yeah, so horizontal, you know what horizontal means. I know what vertical means. So horizontal is giving both sides, that's both the left and the right, it's going to give it the same value. And it's also going to do that for vertical, which is the top and the bottom. So if I change this to 40, that's I change horizontal to 40. You see, it gives it 40 on this side and 40 on the right side. Same thing happens if I change the value for the one on top for the vertical. Changes, please mute your mics. Changes for the top and the bottom, as you can see. Yeah, so that's that about padding. So padding is space inside your container. And yeah, the next one is margin. Just move a bit quicker. So now I don't have to explain edge insets anymore because we've already seen that just now. So for margin, the only difference for margin is that whatever value you put is going to translate to value for outside of the container, not inside. So I can go ahead and remove this child, or just comment it out for now. So if you see, with by giving margin edge insets or of its 8.0 in 8.0 padding, you can see the left and the right, which was actually covering the whole screen, has like reduced a bit. If I change this so that the change looks a bit more profound, you can see that it changes, and this is for all. So it is actually reducing all sides, the left, the right, the top, and the bottom. And you can basically use the same what's it called? The same methods I used before for padding. The only difference is just going to be that you are going to be changing the values of outside the container and not inside the container. Yeah, so that's that. Then another really cool property for containers is the decoration property. So this takes in a box decoration. Then, right. So because I give a so when you actually give a box decoration, you can't. There are some values you can't use outside of the box decoration. Like in this case, I can't use color anymore outside the box decoration. I have to put it inside because using color outside is actually calling box decoration and inferring that color from inside the box decoration. So I set my color inside the box decoration. What color was it? It was blue. Right? Yeah. So we are back. All right. So for box decoration, once again, if you remember like a method I showed to get all your possible properties for a widget, you can just use your command control enter for me on Mac. I think same thing on Windows too. And that works for VS Code, and I think it also works for Android Studio. Yeah. So you can see it's got border radius, box shadow, gradient, image, and shape, and color also. But we've used color, so it's not going to show us that one. So I'm just going to talk about some like the ones that I feel you would probably use more. So let's start with image. So for image, you can give your containers a type of decoration image. That was like you can maybe cover your whole box, your whole container widget with an image, or you can put an image inside. Sometimes you want to make your containers images. Maybe you want a background image for a screen. Using a container and using the image to cover it would work for that. So I think the widget for that is decoration image now. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so you've got decoration image and you have this image parameter, and this image parameter you can use it with our URL images or asset images as we showed. I think I still have those images we used in the last class inside here. Yeah, I do. So let's see if we could use one of those images real quick. Okay. So yeah, I know the video is not uploaded yet, but I'm going to upload the video. That's if you don't already know how to use images. But you can now call your images in here. So in my case, it's assets slash image one dot jpg. Let's see what this does. Okay, yeah, so right now you can see that the image is like inside the container, but sometimes you want the image to actually wrap the whole container. like to cover the whole container. So there are other properties inside this decoration image widget. So let's quickly see those. We've got alignment, center slice, color filter, fit, repeat, match text direction. So for this lecture, I'm just going to talk about fit. Color filter is also a cool one, and you can use it to like give your images, say maybe grayscale, black and white, stuff like that. And alignment also, you might want to just make it like top right, or top left or something. But we're just going to talk about fit for now. So yeah, you can see it takes in a box fit with one of these properties. So you have box fit dot contain, the cover, the fill, the fit height, and dot fit width, and the none, and also the scale down. So let's try to see all of them. So the contain is the default, so nothing changes. If we do the cover, yeah, so you see the cover, it's it makes the image take the size of that container. So right now, with the way this image is, it is actually still a container. So if you can still put a child, and that way this image is like the background image of whatever child that you put inside. So if we just go ahead and just comment out our oh yeah, we're running out of our 40 minutes. So just gonna breeze through this real quick. 100 and 100. Oh, dang. Hold on. One sec. This container now. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to comment it out for now. Let's just go over this before our 40 minutes get exhausted. So that's BuzzFeed the cover. You use cover a lot. You would probably use cover a lot because you might want to maybe give a yeah. So you might want to give a background image. Most times when you are giving a decoration image, you probably want to use it as a background image. So most times you just use the cover and you're cool. But who knows, you might need other ones. So we also have the fill. So the fill. So if you see the difference between the cover and the fill is that the cover zooms in a bit the image. So it only takes the part that it can fit and puts it in. But that fill is going to kind of, it's going to make sure it takes the full image. It will try not to cut any part, and then it's going to stretch it or shrink it however it needs to. So that's the difference between the fill and dot cover. And then we've also got fit height. Fit height is just going to take the height of the container. Same thing with fit width. So they're almost going to appear the same way. But yeah. Yeah, so that is, I guess that's that for this part, for this first meeting, containers. So in the next meeting, we'll probably talk about columns and rows. Yeah. Columns, rows. Then if we can talk about set state in the second meeting that I'm going to create now, we're going to talk about it. Or if not, we just move it to a third meeting. So we might be having 3 meetings today. So just bear in mind. And I also made a mistake for this meeting. I kind of used a